Oklahoma, and, dismounting from his horse, said, "Ben, there's death in them hills. Saw her myself, just a young'un, poor thing. No telling how long she's been there. It may not have been a long time as the clock ticks, but even a few weeks is a long time when you're investigating a murder, long enough for the trail to get mighty cold." He remembered the pathetic little face of the victim, ravaged almost beyond recognition by death and foul weather. The heavy autumn rains had washed out all trace of the slayer who had committed the crime, so medical examination revealed, at least 2 weeks before, on September 15, 1911, if the reckoning was correct. For days, the body of the beautiful girl lay in the undertaking parlors in Miami, while hundreds of people filed by, trying to identify her, and police at neighboring Fayetteville, Springfield, and Tulsa searched their missing persons files for a clue. Result: no missing girls reported, and no one who could even guess who the dead girl was or where she came from. It was beginning to look as if the crime would remain unsolved. It was then that Sheriff Totten's mind turned to the mysterious house in the hills. Ben Totten had passed by the place before and remembered it as a large house, larger than any he had ever seen in these hills. The path leading up to it was matted with thick underbrush. The trees that all but concealed it from view stood tall against the sky, and gnarled with the wounds of tornado, hail, and lightning. Its high arched windows were perpetually shuttered against the sun, and its doors were reputed to be forbiddingly locked against intrusion day and night. The hill people for miles around spoke of the house with awe. They said it was a house of worship, a kind of mission, and its worshippers called it the House of Deuteronomy. Its pastor was Dr. Allen Heber, a patriarchal little man with old-fashioned sideburns. His favorite Bible text was said to be the 18th chapter of Deuteronomy. "And this shall be the priest's due from the people, from them that offer a sacrifice, the first fruit of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the first fleece of thy sheep shalt thou give him." Dr. Heber's flock took this biblical injunction seriously, for as Ben Totten learned on his first visit to the house, the barns back of the place were bulging with free will offerings. It was also on the occasion of this first visit that he met Mrs. Cora Wentworth, who was the matron in charge, in the absence of Dr. Heber and his assistant pastor, James Garrett. When he asked Mrs. Wentworth whether she had knowledge of any missing girl and told her about the young murder victim who lay unidentified at Miami, the matron shook her head. "I'm sure none of our girls has been lost," she said. "This is a training school, you know, and as they complete their studies, our girls go out into the field as missionaries. What was she like, this girl you say was murdered?" "She was around 20, said the sheriff. "Medium height, slender, with a lot of unusually long, fair hair. She must have been right pretty once." "No, Mrs. Wentworth knew of nobody who answered that description," she said, and when she came to Miami a few days later to view the body, she repeated her assertion that the girl was nobody she knew. Dr. Heber, too, viewed the body and denied he had ever seen the dead girl. Jim Garrett, the pastor's assistant, a long-faced, mustachioed man of about 40, who looked like the typical mountaineer of the Ozarks, also denied knowing the identity of the dead girl. In spite of its outward appearance of dire foreboding, the House of Deuteronomy, for all that Ben Totten could see, was just what its leaders purported it to be: a house of worship and a training school for young girl missionaries. Its atmosphere was apparently one of peace and quiet, and no breath of scandal had ever touched it. Sheriff Totten might have been forgiven if he had dropped this angle of the investigation right then and there, but he had a hunch. He carried his questioning further, to the 3 men who worked the farm and back of the house: Amos Smith, who was treasurer of the cult, Jim Byers, and Sam Kirby. It was from Sam Kirby that Totten got the first intimation that all was not serene in this Oklahoma Eden. "We're not supposed to talk," Sam told the sheriff, "but why don't you go and see Mrs. Cairns? She was housekeeper before Mrs. Church. They had a big row one day, and she quit. That was a week or so ago." "What is it they say about little acorns?" "Well, this one grew and grew till— but I don't want to get ahead of my story. Dipping snuff and stirring a boiling kettle full of the family wash, Mary Cairns told her story. She didn't know that there were any girls missing from the house exactly, but she did think it queer the way her cousin's girl, Ina Lackey, was there one week and gone the next. "I don't think Ina meant to go right then," she told Totten. "If she had, she'd have told me. Ina and Dolly Slade, too. Jim Garrett took them. I'd sure like to know where they went."